last 3 years, as I have worked as a management consultant, I feel like I have truly mastered the art of task management. And during this time, I have never forgotten a single task.
Oh shit.
Well, okay, that might be a small lie. But if you ask anyone at work or my friends and family, they will all probably say that I have my task management under full control. But yes, I am still only human. By the end of this video, you will have learned all of my tips and tricks for how I remember all of the tasks that I have to do, so that you can avoid burning your house to the ground. The basis of all task management is that you need to have a solid system that you can depend on. You need to have some kind of system where you keep everything, so some kind of app or notebook or software that you trust that you will keep track of everything there, and that you also will check often, and preferably something that can send you reminders. A notebook can't really do that, but I totally feel ya if you enjoy writing out on paper. The second part to this is that you have to organize and set up the task management system so that it actually works for you. And the most comprehensive system out there is probably GTD. I have a video about this if you want to learn how you can set up GTD, but you need to have some kind of system that makes everything easy for you. So your system should help you to choose what to do and when, prioritize between tasks, see the deadlines that you have, get an overview of what you have left to do, so all of the different tasks that you have to do, some kind of organization system so that it's easy to find all of the different tasks. And then it should also be very, very easy and quick to add new tasks into the system. So if you have a notebook, you have to keep it with you everywhere you go. And the system should be based on how you think. Maybe you hate regular task lists and prefer to using a Kanban board. Well, then do that. Do you prefer due dates in front of due dates? Well, then your system has to counter to that. The system needs to be adjusted to your brain and how you think, because only you know what gets you motivated in doing the things and helps you keep track of things. So don't just take any solution off the box of all of these productivity YouTubers or any kind of productivity app or system, but try to tweak it and build it the way that you think is logical for you. Even if it goes against all of the common productivity tips, the thing that works for you is the thing that you should do. The second thing that helps me never forget a single task is that I write everything down. And I have talked about this on this channel before, and that is because I feel it's such a key in order to keep everything under control. So as soon as you remember something you need to do, or someone says something to you, or anything that sparks some kind of to-do in your head, write it down the second you hear it, like on the spot, because 2 minutes later you will have forgotten what it was about. When I, for example, have work meetings, I always write notes about all of the actions that both me and all of my colleagues have to do, because that is the only way that I can remember even the little small things like, oh, can you just forward that email to me? I always write it down, because if I don't, I will most likely forget about it. And I've actually gone so far that I have a waiting for list where I have all the different actions that I'm waiting for other people to do that impacts the work that I do. So if I'm waiting for someone to send something to me, I always add that to the waiting for list. And that is a great way, at least for me, to make sure that I don't forget about things and that I always deliver everything on time in the long run. The third thing that you should do is to be really clear about any deadlines that you have. So if a task has a deadline, we'll add that into the to-do system. And if it's a bigger thing that consists of a lot of small tasks, then maybe you should add that bigger thing into your calendar so that you can clearly see that this is a big deadline and I have to turn in this material, or whatever it could be. Because when you're prioritizing between tasks and like in your task management system overall, being able to quickly see the deadlines that you have will make it easier for you to know when you have to prioritize something and when not to. If it's 2 days until the deadline, well, then you should probably be working on that now. But if it's a week, then maybe something else is more important. The next thing that I do to help me remember all of the tasks that I have is to use reminders. What a shocker. And this is a really good function that comes in pretty much every task management app. And sometimes you have to do things on a specific day or a specific time, and that could be good to either add into your calendar or use the reminder function in your to-do app. So for example, if I have something that I need to do directly when I go home from work, I usually set a reminder, because otherwise I will just go from work and then go home and then not remember it until I'm home. So that is a really good situation to use reminders. Another thing that has worked really well for me is to have due dates instead of due dates. And of course I have due dates too if something has a deadline, but I usually plan for the week ahead and I just put out things to do every single day. So for my work tasks, that is easier because I have a lot of time in the day to spend for work. But for my personal tasks, I usually do like 0 to 3 tasks every day. And those could be very simple, like cooking food, going out with the garbage and changing the bed sheets. Or it could be a little bit bigger, like filming YouTube videos. But at least for me, it works really good to have like a short list of things that I need to do every day, because that way I don't have an endless list of tasks that I should do, but I've already picked out the ones that I feel are most important to do every day. And then of course that can change, but that gives me a baseline for the whole week of what I'm supposed to do, and make me remember to do all of those important things and make sure that they're not lost in all of those long lists where I've written everything down. So the next thing you should do is to plan in advance. It's a really good thing to just skim through your tasks in advance, pick out the most important ones and make sure that you have them on your list for the next week. Because if you implement the practice of writing everything down, you will have quite long to-do lists, and it's really good to just take 15 minutes one day every week and just look through it and see what is important that I do next week, and then just put it into the due dates. This will make it really simple for you to know when to do each thing. And it will also make sure that you catch all of the important tasks that you need to do and make sure that you remember all of them. The last step that I have done and that I think you should do too is to sit down and think about what is working with your task management system today, what is working good, and what is not working with your task management system today. What are the big issues that you see in your task management system and that makes you forget things or makes you feel like you don't have control? And then fine-tune your system to suit the needs that you have. To get some inspiration, you can get the full grip of how I manage my work tasks by watching my video about productivity planning, where I show you my whole task management system for work in Notion. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.